Welcome to my channel. Today I will be reading from the best horror stories. The winner of this story will receive $100. So let's get right into it. The rickety old house had been in my family for many years. It was my grandparents' home before they passed away, and then it became my parents' home until they got divorced when I was 18. They agreed that I could stay in the house if I could keep it up. Being in high school, I obviously couldn't afford to fix all of the problems that the house had, so I just kind of did what I could and lived there. It wasn't too bad. The house was built in the early 1900s, and it had 3 stories. The 3rd floor was mostly storage space. My favorite part of the house was the basement. It was finished with a concrete floor and a single overhead light bulb that hung from a chain. For some reason, there was always a musty smell down there, even though no one used the basement except me. Occasionally, I would go down there to play Dungeons and Dragons with some friends or just to practice guitar. My room was right above the basement, so it was a pretty easy set of stairs to climb every time. My parents were never really happy about me living there, but they were happy that someone was taking care of the house. One day, my mom called me and asked if she could come over and collect some stuff that I didn't need anymore. She said that she was going to have a garage sale and wanted some items from the basement. I told her that was fine. A couple of hours later, she called me again. She was very upset and demanding to know why I hadn't emptied out the basement. I told her that I couldn't do it all in one day, and she told me that she was coming over tomorrow to help me clean it out. I knew she wouldn't really help. She had a very selective form of helpfulness, and I was sure that she would just criticize me for everything that I did. But I was busy with school and extracurriculars, so I just agreed and went to bed. That night, I was writing in my room when I heard footsteps on the basement stairs. I thought it was weird because my mom wasn't due to arrive for another 8 hours. I decided to ignore it and continued writing. Footsteps came closer, and I heard the creak of the basement door opening. Then I heard dragging noises followed by heavy footsteps on the basement stairs. At first, I thought that maybe my mom had arrived early, but I knew that that wasn't true. I didn't answer the door when I heard a knock. Instead, I kept writing. I heard the footsteps come back down the stairs and the basement door slam shut. I didn't think much of it and continued writing. In the morning, after my mom left, I went down to the basement to clean it out. I brought some boxes up to the attic, and then I took some more down to the basement. As I was doing this, I noticed that the basement door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open and went inside. That's when I noticed something strange. The basement had been completely empty the night before, but now it was filled with boxes and suitcases. I thought it was weird, but I figured that my mom must have put them down there while I was in school. I closed the door and went upstairs. I told my mom about the boxes, and she said that she had nothing to do with them. She looked as confused as I felt. We both went down to the basement to investigate. We opened the boxes and found old family photos and yearbooks, things like that. We even found a journal that turned out to be my great-grandmother's. My mom took a few things that she recognized, and then we sealed up the boxes again. She still insisted that she had nothing to do with them being there. That night, I was writing in my room again when I heard the scraping sound of the basement door on the concrete floor. I thought it was weird that it made that noise because it hung from a frame that was attached to the wall, and it never made any noise when it was opened. I ignored it and continued writing until the basement door opened. Then I heard dragging noises followed by heavy footsteps up the stairs. I was very scared at this point, but I didn't want to run away from whatever was making those noises. I got up and walked slowly toward the basement door. I kept walking until I reached the top of the stairs where I could see into the basement. That's when I saw them. There were 2 figures dragging themselves up the stairs toward me. They weren't making any noise, but I could tell that they were talking to each other because their mouths were moving, but I couldn't hear what they were saying. I couldn't make out their faces, but I could tell that they were very pale and thin. Their arms were long and bony, and their fingers were long and sharp. They moved with an unnatural fluidity, and their eyes were fixed on me. I screamed and ran to my room and locked the door. I don't remember how long I stayed in there. Maybe it was minutes, maybe hours. I was too scared to check. Finally, I went back downstairs to check on the basement. When I opened the door, it was empty again. And in the morning, when I told my mom about what I had seen, she told me that she didn't believe me. She said that I should stop making up these crazy stories and just get on with cleaning out the basement. She said that she was going to help me again tomorrow. I didn't tell her that I didn't make it up. I just nodded and went to bed. That night, I tried to convince myself that what I saw wasn't real. I tried to convince myself that it was a dream. I just couldn't accept the reality that what I saw was real. I lay in my bed crying and hugging my teddy bear, which I hadn't slept with since I was 7. When morning came, I called my mom and told her that I didn't want her to come over. She dropped it and left me alone. I breathed a sigh of relief, but my relief quickly turned to fear when I heard footsteps on the basement stairs. I hid under my bed and covered my mouth so I wouldn't scream. The footsteps came closer, and I heard the basement door open and close. Then I heard dragging noises, followed by heavy footsteps on the basement stairs. This time, I could hear their voices clearly. They were talking about me. They said, "He can hear us. He knows we're here." I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I could hear them talking about what they were going to do to me. They sounded excited. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I was frozen with fear. I wanted to run away, but I couldn't. I was glued to the spot. I wanted to hide, but I couldn't move. I just lay there under the bed listening to them talk. Finally, they went quiet, and I heard them leave the basement. When I was sure that they were gone, I got out from under the bed and went to the basement. It was empty. And when I told my mom about what I had heard, she told me that I needed to get out of that house. She said that she was going to sell the house no matter what, and I had to find somewhere else to live. She packed up some things for me and drove me to my aunt's house across town. I didn't think that I would ever see my mom again. She sold the house and moved away. I haven't spoken to her since. I don't know where she lives now, but I hope that wherever she is, she can hear me screaming.